Hello, hello. It's Sab here again, Sab in Paris, for Facebook Live number 6 in the Fun Photo Appreciation. And let me see if I actually am live. I can show you me, so you can see that I look kind of live. And I'm just going to look on my screen. This is what I'm looking at. This is some of the things I'm going to show you, and I can see that. Yes, I do seem to be kind of live, so I'm going to get rid of that. And we're going to look at a whole load of fun stuff today. You see, I've got a comment. It's Jen. Hi, Jen. Nice to have you watching. Well done. You're the first, maybe the last. And right, so what I'm going to do is normally on these 9 warm-up calls, they're warm-up calls for the masterclass, which is happening starting next Monday. And normally I take 5 minutes at the beginning to talk about the masterclass. Then we do the photo analysis of 9+ photos. And then I spend 10 minutes talking about the masterclass at the end. So you can avoid that if you don't want it. Today, I'm going to do something different to start with. I'm going to take 5 minutes to talk about creativity, because I created a group called the Creative Smartphone Photography Group. The masterclass, if I just show you, is called, hang on, where we are. Well, it doesn't actually say that it's called Creative, but I do call it the Creative Smartphone Photography Masterclass. After that, in the spring, is coming the Creative Blog and Article Writing Masterclass. There's not enough space to put creative, but it's my favorite word. And then in the autumn, in the fall, we're going to have the Infinite Creative, oh, I'm going to get there. Infinite Creativity Now Masterclass. Infinite Creativity Now Masterclass. Say it with me. And that's actually the name of my kind of umbrella site, which is infinitecreativitynow.com. Why am I so obsessed with creativity, you might ask? Well, it's quite simple. We often look for some sort of meaning in life or purpose, and I don't know if there really is one out there waiting for us to find it. It's like your ideal person. I'm not sure if your ideal person is out there waiting to be found. But what I do think is there's quite a lot of nice people out there that you could have some really good times with, some more than others. And I think that creativity for me is something I've found which really gives me a feeling of worthwhileness. If I base my life around this concept of being as creative as possible and helping others to be as creative as possible, I feel that I'm living a worthwhile, enriching and generous life. And that's kind of done it for me. So I'm not saying it's better than any other way of looking at life. I'm not even saying it's a way of looking at life, because we're all creative. We're fundamentally creative. Your parents created you, whether you like it or not, so we've got creativity in us. So what about taking time out of our everyday lives to do things which are specifically about being creative, with not necessarily a purpose other than producing something that pleases us, that didn't exist before? Because I'm going to start talking about appreciating and analyzing photographs in about 2 minutes, but I'm taking some time out not to talk about the masterclass, but to talk about creativity, why I'm so obsessed with this word. And when I talk about creativity, you can be creative when you're making a meal, or you can be creative when you're tidying a room. But I think the true thing that fires us up and gives us a real feeling of joy is creating something that didn't exist before, not just a tidy room from a messy one, but literally something you can grab, hold on to, and give to someone, and they can take it from you with their hands. And these days, photography is a bit sort of virtual, it's sort of dematerialized. But back in the old days, we used to print our photographs onto paper. In fact, that's all a photograph used to be. You can still do it today as well. And there's something about getting something physical. I mean, I sent one of my paintings to a friend today, and she got it. Funnily enough, I was online with her, and she was interrupted by a knock at the door, and it was my painting arriving. And there's something about having something in your hands. I don't know if you ever get letters these days. You get sent a postcard. I know there's one person I know, she sends postcards to her friends every year, once a year. And it's so special. And it always makes me think, What a shame. What a shame we don't have this, doing things with our hands, creating things that didn't exist before, just for the fun of it. And part of that fun is sharing, giving it to someone else or showing it to someone else. So that's why I'm kind of so obsessed by creativity. I'm not saying it's, any better than any other way you might have of looking at how to lead your life in a nice way, but it works for me. So that's what I share. I encourage people to be as creative as possible, and I try to show them me being creative. So let me just quickly share. I am sharing the screen already. So I just wanted to show you a couple of, I've got someone saying hello. I want to honor that. Hi, Dorothy. Dorothy's listening. Dorothy, hi, nice to have you here. Listen away, listen away. I hope you like the sound of the photographs that we're going to be looking at today. So I just wanted to show you, for example, poetry. I write poetry, and I've developed a system where I put them into these sort of squares with my photographs, and I present them in these grids of 9. Now you might wonder why I present poetry in grids of 9. Well, you'll see. I'm trying to find my thing. I'm trying to get some sort of coherence going. This is my Paris Photo Chronicles, and it's photographs of Paris. I make them square, and I present them in grids of 9. And I do one every day with a text. So everyone has a text as well. Okay, there you go. So that's 9 days worth of photographs. If I go down the page, they're presented as a grid. Now I'm showing you this as my example of how I try to be creative. And I help people not just be creative, but to find some sort of path within their creativity, to give them a sense that they've got a direction, they're moving forward, they've found their thing. Their thing, it could be looking for a purpose. I've kind of found my thing by doing stuff in squares. It might seem silly, but it's given me it pleases me. And that's the first thing, it pleases me. I don't need to go any further than that. If it pleases anyone else, it's a bonus. And there's a certain satisfaction. So sometimes that's what I do. I help people to find their thing. And just that, it's theirs, it's original, they thought of it, not me. And they can move forward with that, developing it, modifying it, And that gives people a real good feeling. And then when people start to recognize them for their thing, that's another level of satisfaction, another boost to give us the feeling that we're worth something, that we're here for some reason. And one of the main reasons is to feel that we're bringing pleasure to others. So if you can develop your thing, you can find a thing that pleases you. You develop it sufficiently that you're proud, you're excited to do it, you're proud to show it to others, and others start to recognize you for your thing. It all comes together in a nice sort of circle, virtuous. And the thing is, that will inspire others to then find something that they can call their thing, and they'll show it to you, and you'll be, it all comes back, it goes around in a nice circle. Just wanted to show you one more thing. These are my paintings, and they're squares. I present them as grids of paintings, and if you click on one of these things, you can actually see that my paintings are grids of 9 squares. So, for what it's worth, it could be anything, couldn't it? It could be circles, it could be grids of 4. Mine happen to be grids of 9. And it's given me some sort of feeling some sort of direction. I mean, it's utterly meaningless, and yet it's fun. And that gives me a reason to carry on. And now I apply it to everything. Look, I created this new site recently, and I call it apparently ... In fact, it's apparently.space, not .com, .space. And I like that because the .space, it's like apparently, and there's an empty space for you to fill in whatever comes after apparently. So apparently this is a website called Apparently. It's my kind of funny little observations on life. And I display them, surprise, surprise, in a grid. Okay, so all of that is to show you how, for me, it's not enough to try and inspire others to be creative. In French, they call it coherent. Practice what you preach. So if I'm telling other people that I think being creative regularly is a really great way to live your life, amongst others, I need to be creative as well. So I'm creative in my way, my little way. It's humble. I'm not saying it's anything special. It's what it is. And I encourage other people to do the same. So let's move on to the photographs I'm going to talk about today. I've got at least 9, maybe more. And at the end, the last 10 minutes of this, as usual, will be me talking about the masterclass, which is coming on Monday. Please join. It'll be wonderful. And you'll take your photographs to the next level. Right. So let me give you a quick flash of from the sponsors. There we are. It's the Facebook Live. Hang on, let me get rid of this. It's the Facebook Live number 6 out of 9. And today, if you count these little noughts and crosses things, we're up here. You can't see it. We're up in the top middle. And that Eiffel Tower thing there will be part of what we're going to look at today. In fact, it's going to be the first one. And if you look up here, you can see a painting that I did, which was also based on noughts and crosses. Because if you do the noughts and crosses thing, or tic-tac-toe, you've got a grid of 9. You see how far my madness is going? I've got a comment. Alice, hello Alice, nice to see you. Good morning, she says. No, it isn't. It's the evening. Hope you did not spill your coffee today. You know what? I did spill a coffee today. And it's not a joke, in the other room. A full mug. I've got this amazing mug. It comes from the catacombs of Paris with all the dead people. But it's rounded at the bottom. And boom, it went. The entire kitchen table and floor covered in a full mug of coffee. Let's look at some photographs, shall we? Got them lined up, and I've got some beauties. I did an appeal for people to send in more photographs to be critiqued, and you did, thank you, but keep them coming. I need more. I've got 4 more shows, so I need at least 10 or 15 more photographs, but I've got enough for today. What I thought I would do today was start with one of mine on the Eiffel Tower. This series of mine, which has been going for over 2 years now, is called When Lady Eiffel Smiles. And I've adopted Lady Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower, as my muse. It's symbolic. She inspires me. I like the fact when I'm walking past the Eiffel Tower, this little British kid looks up and says, hey, I'm walking past the Eiffel Tower. That's kind of cool. So creatively and photographically, my objective is to try and take pictures of the Eiffel Tower on a regular basis, never the same. If I take one that really is quite similar to another one, I've failed. I don't like the word fail or succeed. I don't use them. But my challenge is to always take photographs that are different. So you've got about 6 or 7 for the price of 1, because I'm just going to show you at random, because I take them regularly, at random, pictures of the Eiffel Tower. There's one. There's another. Feel free to say what you think. Can you see it? Down there. Okay, going from huge to going from to tiny. This is me on the left, my son on the right, both of us blowing a kiss either to each other or to Lady Eiffel with one of my funky angles. Check the angle on that one, and check the angle on this one, and check the angle on this one. You see, I've got a thing about angles. Did you know that? Alice, did you know that? I have a thing about angles. I hate lamps though. And this is actually an Eiffel Tower keyring. What? Well, I have got a kind of wide remit on photographs of Paris. The Eiffel Tower, it's a keyring, and you go to the Eiffel Tower, there's like 1 million people selling keyrings. So for me, that's valid. To be honest, I've even taken photographs in this series which aren't even in Paris, but it's still me. It's still me. My heart is in Paris. I'm inspired by it. Having said that, Paris is just a town. I just happen to have landed here. And I always encourage people to be as creative as they can in their town or in towns they visit. So I go on about Paris. It's become my thing, like my squares. But it's no more special than any other place. If you've got the eye, you've got a heart, then, you know, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are. So the clock, I must admit, was on a wall, not in France. I found this Eiffel Tower keyring crushed outside where I was staying, but the clock it says Paris down here. Someone's decorated it with a yin yang yong, whatever thing it is, Canal Saint-Martin, Hôtel du Nord, and I swung the keyring in front of it. That's me swinging the keyring. So here's another one. Feel free to comment. If you want to comment, you need to be on this page. Let me show you. Iskra, love the kiss to Lady Eiffel. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Iskra. There it is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really fond of this photograph. If you want to comment, you need to be here. Facebook.com/𝗓𝗪𝗏. Otherwise, I won't see your comments. If you want to see me to see who you are, you need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and say accept. Accept that I can see your name. Okay. How different can you get? And one of the wonderful things about smartphone photography is that you can go nuts. It's much easier to be creative than with traditional photography. There's a danger. That's a danger because anyone can apply a really fancy filter. But the danger is they apply it to a photograph which is crap. And in the old-fashioned days, there was an expression called garbage in, garbage out, something like that. There was first in, first out, and then there was garbage in, garbage out. You know, start with crap, you can apply a filter to it, and it'll be a piece of crap with a filter applied to it. So I think you get what I'm saying. Alice, what did you do on this one? It looks like a painting. Well, if this one is this one, yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure. I played around. I find it difficult to say what I did because I play around with various different techniques. Basically, honestly, I'm not avoiding the question. Go to the App Store on your phone and type photo apps. You'll get a few. Download a few, free, and maybe one or two that you like the filters on that maybe cost $2 or $3. Dive into them, apply some effects, and you'll find things happening like this. I generally apply, well, sometimes I hardly apply any. Sometimes I apply up to 3 or 4 different layers, different effects, sometimes in different programs as well. On the masterclass, which will be starting on Monday, this masterclass here, in case you didn't realize, we have a whole module on smartphones and apps, so we can look more on that then. But you know, it's nice to have a bit of mystery as well. You don't want to tell everybody everything, otherwise, you know, you wouldn't ask a painter, you know, stop them in the street and say, hey, what brush did you use for that stroke there? Or what brand of paint do you use? So I think it's nice to keep a bit of mystery, you know. There was Paris, there was me, and now there's this photograph. And that's basically as much as anyone needs to know. And you won't produce photographs the same as me. You can't, because you're not me. So I can tell you routes to go to move towards your own style, but don't bother copying my style because it's mine, it's not yours. I'm not saying that to be nasty. In my style is my life, you see. So I could never produce photographs like you. I can't. It's not possible because I haven't lived your life. After that, you know, the apps and stuff, they're kind of secondary, to be honest. All right, so I'm still talking about this one. No, I'm not really talking about it. I'm just showing it to you. I'm trying to get rid of Alice. Making the painting looks cracked. Yeah, I mean, there's so many fantastic apps out there. Really, the effects are amazing. All right, and just another couple of the Eiffel Tower. Now, I think you'll agree, this one and this one are quite different approaches of the same subject. No? And I'll give you one more for luck. All right, so no excuses for not being creative. There is no limit to creativity. That's why I call my website, a lot of my websites, they have the word infinite or creativity or both in them. That's why my current website that I'm focusing on for all my programs is called Infinite Creativity Now, because there's no limit. There's no limit to it. Right, let's move on to one of your photographs. And it's 𝗪𝗫𝗪. It's 𝗪𝗫𝗪 again, and it's a rainbow again. So what do we got here? Awesome. 𝗲𝗏 says awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we talked about a rainbow, which was in the middle of the sky. Yeah, obviously in the middle of the sky, but that's all there was. Check yesterday's video while it's still up if you want. Now she's offered another one. I'm not sure if this is somebody's face on the right. I guess it looks like a nose and an open mouth with a bit of hair here. Is there someone trying to catch the rainbow in their mouth? Now you could have done that, couldn't you? You could have got the person, craned the neck like this and opened the mouth so that the rainbow went in. That would have been cool. Because yesterday we were talking about ways of, you know, a rainbow's kind of nature's thing. You can't really get more beautiful and amazing than a rainbow, but you can twist it. You can play with it. So you take a picture just of a rainbow. Well, I'm afraid nature's going to have, you know, be better than your photograph, actually looking at the real rainbow. But what nature can't do is take a photograph where you get the person open their mouth in silhouette, tilt their head back, and they're swallowing the rainbow. That would be cool. You've got the double rainbow effect that I was talking about yesterday. You've got raindrops on the window. And you've got a kind of, I can see through here. I can see a building down in the bottom left. That's nice because it gives it a sense of place. 𝗪𝗫𝗪's rainbow yesterday was floating in the middle of nowhere. And there was no sense of place, space, anything. Now that rainbow slams right down into right next to that building. You know, they must be pretty scared. I reckon that must have made quite a, you know, a crash when it landed. She's divided the photograph into two, well, the first rainbow, the strong one comes in a third in, the repeated one comes in at 2/3 in. So that's very beautifully proportioned. Your photograph is very beautifully proportioned, 𝗪𝗫𝗪. The photograph is a bit fuzzy. I don't know why. Theoretically, you could have got those raindrops crystal clear, but they're not. I don't know why. Is it because the camera's not high quality enough? It was focusing on something else. It was too dark. It didn't know what to focus on. I don't know. I'm just pointing it out. That building, strangely enough, looks quite in focus, doesn't it? And then another one from 𝗪𝗫𝗪, which is, oh, hang on. What's 𝗲𝗏 saying? 𝗲𝗏 saying infinite, not indefinite. Could be both, actually. Hang on. Oh, 𝗲𝗏 said, so much creativity, indefinite fountain of it. Yeah, and then she says infinite, not indefinite. Could be both, actually. Of course it could be both, yeah. And, you know, words aren't really things, so don't worry about it. This is another one from 𝗪𝗫𝗪. So this is a 𝗪𝗫𝗪 special before I give you another of mine. Very interesting. She says, would you crop this one even more for more impact? Good question. What would you do, people? What would you do with this? Would you crop it? It's square. So if you were watching earlier, it's already damn good because it's square. Well, how would you crop it? You wouldn't want to crop any of the lightning. So what would you crop? Would you crop that? Let's keep it kind of equidistant there. Image crop to scale in. No, crop to. Would you do that? Kind of cool. Actually, it's pretty cool. I like it. What about if you had 3 weather shots and they were all in that long, tall format? You could take a rainbow one with the rainbow coming in like this. You could have one with lightning and you one with, I don't know, something else impressive, or the other end of the rainbow. I don't know. And you could have them as a triptych. Yeah. This camera. 1, 2, 3. So all in all, it would make one normal sort of landscape photograph. But in fact, it would be 3 tall, thin photographs. That would be pretty cool, pretty cool. So you can do that. Having said that, I like it like this because you've got the lights going along the bottom, haven't you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights going along the bottom. It's very dark, just those single lights. Maybe it suggests a road or something. you've got this huge sky and you've got this lightning thing amazingly caught. How did you do that? I mean, you took this photograph, I guess. That's stunning. Is it a smartphone? Amazing. Well done. I mean, really amazing. I don't know how you did it. You've even got these sort of subsidiary things going off here. I don't know if you can see. You see these subsidiary ones going off here? It's absolutely incredible. So I wouldn't really crop it because it's too impressive. What would you? It would be such a shame, wouldn't it? You know, I love the space. I love that space, and it's also coming down towards the middle. Then it goes off to the left. So you know, you could crop it a little bit, I guess, but not much because you don't want to cut into the halo of the light around it. You see the halo of the light comes out here. It'd be a shame to cut that. It'd be like chopping a bit of the edge of someone's arm off, the edge of someone's shoulder. So, you know, you could crop it there, let's say, have that little white light in the bottom, the same distance as the little white light on the bottom left. Image. Yeah, you could do that. That's cool as well. That's very, very nice as well. So fantastic. Well done. And thanks for sending those in. Right. That's the last we'll hear from Ďespiňa for a while, for today anyway. Now, my next one is, oh, by the way, if you want to say hello, do say hello. You want to comment, you have to be here if you want me to see your comments now, all right, and reply to them. Facebook.com//𝗪𝗏. If you want me to know who you are, you have to go here, StreamYard.com/Facebook, and accept so I can see your name, or put your name in the comment. If you don't want to do that, just put your name in the comment and then I know who you are. Now we're going to move on to my next one, and it's a self-portrait. I've just done with some of you, quite a few of you, a selfies challenge. I'm not doing selfies here, obviously, because I've just kind of, you know, that theme has been done. Having said that, like with the Eiffel Tower, I have decided to set myself a creative challenge with the subject that it's easiest for me to work with. And that's me. I'm always with me. It's crazy. I turn around, there I am. And it's a challenge. And it's also not as narcissistic as it might sound. Because I call it creative disintegration. That's the name of this project. Every 10 days in my When Lady Eiffel Smiles series, I publish a photograph, a self-portrait. Don't call them selfies. Don't call photographs of yourself selfies, because they're self-portraits. And make sure you've thought about them, unless they're just snaps. If they're fun snaps, great. But if you want it to mean something and to last and to touch people, make it a self-portrait. And the way I get around people thinking it's narcissistic, I say, well, look, I'm watching myself dying. I'm watching myself getting old and falling off the planet. But I'm doing it creatively. I now look back on these, even from a year ago or 2 years ago when I started this project, and it gets a little bit scary. Imagine me looking back to 2000 or 2004 when I started this seriously. I had more hair, put it that way. How do you make it a self-portrait and not some stupid selfie? Well, I'm not saying selfies are stupid. If you like them, they're fine. You know what I'm saying. Hang on, I've got a comment. And the comment is, yeah, stunning lightning photo. Yeah, absolutely. And 𝗪𝗏 says, horse light. House light? Horse light? Not sure what you mean there. So I'll tell you what makes this important for me. I was wandering through Montmartre cemetery. There's more than one famous cemetery in Paris. There's Montparnasse, Montmartre, Père-Lachaise, of course, and some smaller ones that not many people know about or visit. This is a beautiful one. It's stunning. And it's Montmartre. And I was wandering through, and imagine my surprise when I looked up and I saw my unusual surname, Will, on a tomb in Montparnasse, in Montmartre cemetery. I was very pleased, actually, very, very pleased. I thought, wow, that is so cool. I've got my own tomb waiting for me. And I even saw, you see these little stars here? They're actually holes in the door. And I thought, okay, it's not really my tomb. I could get someone to blow some of my ashes through those stars once I've gone, and I would actually be in my own tomb with my name on, which I could never imagine having, you know. So it's actually not just my name. It's like a double-barreled name. There's a hyphen before it and someone else. But guess what? I chopped it out. I didn't want somebody else's name there. My name is there. I was sitting on the steps. It was raining. I was kind of thinking about life, the universe, and croissant, probably. And one of the stray cats that lives in the cemetery came along and thought, "You'll do," and sat on my lap. And I love cats. I love dogs. I do like animals. And whether it's true or not, I feel they sense it. So this cat just came and sat on me, probably more comfortable than a cold step. And we did our thing for a few minutes. Quite a few of this was the only shot that was the best shot for me. The only one where everything was right. I'm framed by the green door. The green door is framed by the stone. I've just got my name in the top right, without the other bit of it. I'm looking enigmatically in one direction. The cat's looking enigmatically in another. And we've both got kind of the same expression on our faces. And we're not looking at the camera. And, you know, this isn't the least of all. I actually managed to get the shot with the cat sitting on me without disturbing the cat. If the cat had gone, I would have lost a wonderful shot. This is going to stay with me for the rest of my life until maybe someone does take some of my ashes and blow them through that star in the door. So, you know, these things count. And that's why I think it's important, and it's powerful to do this sort of thing. Make a story behind your shots. Have at least some interaction with something around you, not just you, not just a tourist shot. Do something, you know, touch something, hold something, be looking at something that you can say, this shot is important to me because that wall there, you know, or that day there. And then, you know, it moves your photographs to another level. See what you can do. See what you can do in your next self-portraits to inject depth and emotional depth, not sort of photographic depth, emotional depth into your selfies. And now there's two more of you guys. How are we doing for time? Half an hour. We're doing okay, people. Right, now here's one from Iskra. I put out a call for photographs because I've got 4 more days and I need another like 20 photographs. And some of you guys sent them in. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. And Iskra sent this in. She sent a few in. She didn't send a comment, like a question. And I kind of need a question to reply to because otherwise me saying what I think about a photograph is meaningless because, you know, why should I? Why should I tell you what I think about a photograph? You know, you look at it and you decide what you think. But I'm okay with it if someone asks me a question. Then I can give them my opinion. And that's all it is. So she didn't. She just sent the photographs in. So I asked her, I wondered, you know, are you looking for better composition? Maybe she doesn't want comments, you know. If you don't want comments, I'm not going to give you comments. But I think she's kind of, you know, she'd be interested in any hints or ideas. So I've only got one. Can you guess what it is? Look at this photograph. What could I do now, like in 5 seconds, to change this significantly? Answers on a postcard. This is what came to mind. And the only reason for doing that is because, well, there's 2 reasons. Don't get me started. There was a lot of stuff behind, I think it's her child. Lovely. There was a lot of stuff on the left and up below, which was all uniform color. That's it. It wasn't doing anything. If I go back to this, undo crop. Okay, so I mean, like the bottom third, literally, I'm not joking either, I'm not exaggerating. The bottom third of this photograph, which is up to about here, is one texture. Does it add to the photograph? Yesterday, we looked at 𝗕𝗘𝗧𝗧's photograph of a pathway going in under some arches, and there were these two lines leading into the first arch, and she said, guess I should chop the bottom off, right? Too much foreground. And I said, no, because there were these two lines, they led the eyes in like train tracks. And I showed examples of mine with train tracks. Here, you haven't got that. There's nothing leading the eye in as such. What is important about this? The child and the window. The window is stunning. The child is, if you take just the window, the child is more to the left. It's not in the middle of the window. So this is wonderful. This is fantastic. It's also, the window is open to the right. In other words, it hits the edge of the frame, whereas it's closed on the left. So let's work with this, you see. So, also, this bit on the left, it's exactly the same argument for chopping it. It's the same color. It's a big lump of color that doesn't do too much. The photograph isn't about this bit of floor here and this bit of wall on the left, is it? It's about the child, the stunning window. The stunning window, and where the child's looking. The child's looking out. Well, no, it's not looking. He or she, I'm not sure. My son's got hair like this, and everyone thinks it's a girl. So. The child is looking to the right or facing the right. So in this case, I would say, let's put the child slightly to the left. So I would crop even more, to be honest. You don't have to. It could be fine like this, absolutely fine. But what if we cropped even more? Just push this is actually pushing the child slightly more to the left, so that the child has more space to look towards than behind, which is generally more pleasant, makes a stronger photograph. I'm going to crop even a little bit more. Crop to selection. Yeah, you see, this long window is making me think that the photograph could be a little longer, but I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And the left-hand side is nice. At least it has the window here touching this brown stuff. So, you know, I'd do that. Very nice. You didn't ask me, but that's what I would do. Very interesting. What an amazing window. Never seen a window like that. Iskra says, he. It's a he. All right. My son has got longer hair than your son at the moment. And it doesn't seem to worry him. Cut the floor. Iskra says, cut the floor. Well, I've just described my thoughts. Inspiring room for workshops. Wouldn't it be amazing, Dorothy, for workshops? Oh, wow. That'd be amazing studio as well. Oh, I'm dreaming. The lightning gave the impression of a horse. That's what Dorothy said about the lightning picture. It gave the impression of a horse. Iskra says he was actually testing the floor, but I agree about the composition and the suggestion for cropping. You know, sometimes just take the shot and then you can play about with it afterwards. There's no problem taking more than you think you need, and you're just giving me the raw photographs. If you'd cropped it yourself, you'd probably have done something similar. So you know, I'm not telling you things that you necessarily don't know or wouldn't do. Yeah, it used to be my meditation workshop room. Oh, wow, Iskra, that's amazing. Hang on. Yeah, it used to be my, I can show you these. That is fantastic. Wow. Wonder what it is now. Yeah, she says he was actually testing the floor. Agree about composition and suggestion for cropping. Okay, good. We can remain friends. Right, I'm moving on to two from lovely Yaruska. I used two for the price of one because they're quite similar. And this is very interesting because we have a different question, I think. All right. So the question is, what about the lighting effects? Oh, hang on. Uploaded another photo from the same space. Okay, I'm going to check that probably, well, you know, tomorrow or the next day, Iskra. So, but you can check it in the group. All right, so she asks about the lighting. So what I'm guessing is, I mean, it could be natural lighting, but she doesn't specify. But I'm guessing she's applied a filter. She's applied a special effect. And you get these, they call them light leaks, things like that. Light leaks, like light leaking, as though you had an old camera with the back didn't close properly and you got the light leaking in. And these are very fun to play with. I sometimes put them in my photographs. You see, it's brighter up in the top here with a kind of orangey brightness there, and on the left there, and on the right as well. So the question was, what do I think about the effects of the lights? Well, for a start, what do you think about them, guys? Do you like them? Iskris says, I love the lush green in these photos. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the thing is here, right? Do I like the lighting effect? What does it add? Why use it? Sometimes it gives an effect of more interesting sunlight than if you hadn't used it. It might be a bit flat otherwise. When you've got a picture of nature, you've got to ask yourself, what am I going to do with nature? Can I improve on nature? Can I improve on a bee by adding some lighting effect? Not necessarily. So you've got to watch out for that. What you might do is maybe a vignette, make it darker around the edges, or lighter, going towards white is nice as well. But if you start playing around with the colors of nature, you've got to realize that it's like you're playing God in a way. I think it should be different. If you're moving it towards art, like I do on my Eiffel Tower one, right? We can't say that that's what it looked like when I looked at it, okay? This has got nothing to do with reality. It's, you know, it's art. Let's say it's art. But this is a picture of a bee on a flower surrounded by some leaves. So it's not exactly artistic in the sense of creating something that is, you know, just crazy and wild. So just ask yourself, does it enhance the photograph? Putting a little bit of red, soft red on the left and a tiny bit on the right. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Possibly not. I don't think I would have done that. But the thing is, you have to experiment to find out what you like. And after everything is said and done, if you like it, great. Alice says, lovely pictures, but not fond of light leaking. It's a personal thing, isn't it, Alice? And Yaruska. The first thing is, if you like it, it's great. Secondly, think about it. Is that the best thing you could do? Could you do a different special effect, which is more in harmony with the fact that it's pure nature here? You could brighten up the colors. It looks like the colors are very saturated. Maybe you brightened them up with an application or saturated them. Yeah, so, you know, experiment and choose what you think is a good one. So you were right to ask the question because it makes you think, Okay, what is it? What is it? Is it a bee? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? I think it's a bee, isn't it? Or a fly? No, probably a bee on a lovely flower, if that's the one you're talking about, Dorothy. All right, let's move on to the last three. Here we go. And it's not even three, it's more than three. Right, I'm going to give you one of, no, it's three. I'm going to give you one of mine. And I wanted to go right up to date. This was from about a week ago. And it's Notre Dame after the fire. It kind of looks like it's on fire, or that the crane here, it looks like that's fire billowing onto the crane on the left. Well, it's not, it's just special effects. So you could compare this with the bee picture, I guess. This is pure nature, which maybe lends itself less to funny lighting effects than mine, because I've put a texture effect, there's strange lighting effects coming in, the whole picture has been tinted sepia. When I looked at it, it was just a normal picture of a cathedral, a church, you know, normal sort of grey sky, normal everything. So I wanted to bring back some of the feeling that might have been when it was on fire. So I was thinking, make it more reddish, some sort of effect to make it grungy, because they just cleaned this and bam, there's a fire and it's all dirty again. I wanted to exaggerate that. And then I was looking for, well, there's an angle. I threw my angle in, of course. It's very difficult not to have angles when you take a picture of something really tall with straight edges looking up, because what happens is you get receding angles, you see, and you're not going to get, well, they call it parallax effect, I think, something like that. You know, you've got a building like this. You tilt the camera up to take a picture of it, it's suddenly going to look like a pointy thing. Given that, well, ignore, you know, go crazy, make it so much of an angle that just doesn't matter anymore. You know, you're not an architectural photo. I'm not an architectural photographer here, so I do whatever I like. I'm more interested in angles. So you've got these crazy angles coming in. You have the crane, and I thought, okay, well, let's talking about framing. You can frame things with anything, really, including bits on either side which are kind of similar. So I've got the red of the awning thing from a hotel or a cafe going down in the corner there, and you've got another diagonal red thing going up on the other side of the church of Notre Dame, and that for me is like a frame. You know, it's good enough. It's good enough. Notre Dame is between those two angular red things. Of course, the red thing on the bottom gives you the feeling of Paris, because it's like what you see in front of cafes. The red thing above is a crane, so you realize there's a problem with Notre Dame, so you know it's the time that it lost its roof. And one other thing I would suggest, and here's a bit of chance. By chance, my special effect gave me really fuzzy red effect at the bottom of the crane, and that makes me feel like it's almost on fire. That was a lucky happening. And then on the red awning in front of the cafe, I think it said hotel. And if you chop it in a certain way, you can get rid of the L, like EL, and you've got the word hot. And the whole photograph looks rather hot, doesn't it? So these are just what French would call them les clins d'œil. The winks, little winks, you know, little, hot, Notre Dame, the roof burnt down, it's all red. So these are all ways of adding depth, symbolic depth to the photograph. And two more. This one is from Karen. Thanks for sending in those photographs, Karen. Really appreciate it. She did say she had difficulty thinking of questions for me. And she ended up asking me, does it bother you that there is so much empty water on the right? This is a picture of firemen practicing water rescues in the canal. I'm trying to work out what's going on here. This looks like this person is actually going through the bottom of the boat. Oh, it is. It's an inflatable thing, and the front has actually got a hole in it. That's amazing. Ha! And those are their legs underneath. Amazing. So does it bother me? Does it bother me? You know, would I go that far? That there's so much empty water on the right? There's not that much. You know what? I don't know. What might bother me more is what's happening in between the edge here, up in the top left-hand corner. It's really, really tight, isn't it? Maybe a little bit more space, or chop it completely and have it on the action. You don't really need all of the boat. What about if you, but don't have it touching a tiny bit. So you've just clipped a tiny bit off. That I find a little bit irritating. So if you're going to cut something, like if you're going to cut a person, well, cut them properly, cut their entire arm off and halfway through their chest, as opposed to just their elbow or just the edge of their fingers. That's kind of nasty. So what about if I don't know, it's kind of a square composition, isn't it? What about this image? Crop to. Is that better? I don't know. Like in a newspaper, they might do something like this because they have very little space. So they only want to have the heart of the action, the core. The back side of the boat, I don't think it's necessary. The action is here. You know, like this guy is pulling someone else out of the water through the front of the boat. That's pretty impressive. So the back of the boat is not necessarily where the action is taking place. So if you make, one way of making the subject more impactful and impressive is to make the subject, which is probably the person dragging the other person into the boat, that's the subject, make it big. You don't have to worry about the rest. So yeah, you could possibly crop off the end of the boat, the backside of the boat. And as for the maybe this bit of water on the right here isn't necessarily necessary. You could possibly crop it another way. Maybe not worry too much about the other guy. I don't know. Or you could get rid of the other guy completely, but then that's pretty tight, isn't it? So, you know, don't know. Thanks for sending that in. And then the last one is, ta-da! And we're at 50 minutes. So I'll be stopping in a minute. Then you can go if you want. Thanks for watching. And I will spend 10 minutes on my wonderful masterclass, which you should join. If you love photography, join the masterclass. You won't regret it. It'll be the best, I hope the only photographic training you will ever need. And then you can carry on your own with the inspiration of the group, of course. And coming to see me in Paris, why not? So this last one is from Jackie. And she actually says, should you mess about with filters? She doesn't talk about composition or subjects or foreground interest. She talks about filters. Should you mess about with filters? Kind of goes back to Ďuriška's question here. What do I think about the light leaks? So I'm tempted to talk about composition, but I'm going to try and avoid it. It's blue. It's very blue. Is this snow or is it froth? I think it's maybe froth. But you know, froth is normally white. Then again, this bit here is white, isn't it? This line is white. So what's going on here? So this is a wave breaking. This is a wave also breaking further back that hasn't gone white yet. And this is really, really, really tinted blue. Things get tinted blue normally when there isn't much sun or there's clouds. So yeah, that's kind of strange, isn't it? Maybe she's tinted it already. Maybe she's put a filter on already. See, what you can do with filters, you can get a sunset filter. You could slap it on. You could brighten up the photograph, slap a sunset filter on, and pretend that it's a gorgeous sunset in the Caribbean or something instead of, I don't know, boring Bournemouth or something. So filters, they can be okay. You got to very quickly, if they're too exaggerated, they can move towards those sort of the meme type, you know, orange sunset with the silhouette of the woman jumping in the air sort of syndrome. And you just think, yeah, come on, that's not, you know. So you can play around. Filters, especially strongly colored ones, they're very much a question of personal taste. And you can go too far very easily. Unless you go completely wild abstract art, and then there's no rules. So I'm going to leave it at that for today, except, yeah, I don't think we have any more. That was wonderful. What a wonderful selection of photographs you gave me. Thank you. Do the same for tomorrow. Keep sending them in to, I'll show you where. Right, so let's get rid of that. And let's bring in the other screen again. It's this one here. Share. And yeah, if you go to this in the group, in the Creative Smartphone Photography group, if you're not watching a replay, well, yeah, you can. You go here, you find this. It's entitled Smartphone Photography Masterclass Warm-Ups, well, Friendly Photo Analysis. You look for this and you submit your photographs, and I'll talk about them tomorrow or the next day or the next day. We've got 3 more days. Can you imagine? I've been doing this for 6 days and I'm still going. It's ridiculous. Let me get rid of this bar. So thanks very much for watching. I'm now going to take 10 minutes to tell you about the masterclass. If you would like to know more about it, listen and watch. And if you already know about it, then sign up. Or if you have already signed up, then you don't need to watch this either. It's more or less the same every single day. So theoretically, I should be getting good at it, shouldn't I? This masterclass will last about 9 weeks. There's 2 break weeks after every 3 weeks. So it's extremely comprehensive. It's the only photographic course I ever want you to take, unless you want to get really specific on a specific type of photography. But it's so doable. For example, after 3 weeks, you've got a week's break, or it's a catch up, or it's relax, as you want. You can go deeper into what we've talked about. You can forget the course altogether, or you can catch up on what you've missed. This is actually a welcome video. If you want to click on that, you can hear me talking about it with the Eiffel Tower in the background. Because you know I like the Eiffel Tower, you know I live in Paris. All of the photographs on this page were taken with my smartphone and with models below this one as well. So it's the smartphone and apps. My philosophy is only smartphone. I learned photography many years ago. I mean, I'm still learning on big fancy cameras with big lenses and interchangeable goodness knows what and 50 buttons. They're great, of course they're great, but I'm aiming this at everyone who has a smartphone. But the principles I will be teaching and helping you practice are for any type of photography, seriously. So it's not a sort of cut price, not proper course because it's got smartphone in the title. And I would dare to say what I'm going to share with you is way, way above what many courses with people who, you know, they've had a camera for a couple of years and they've decided to do that. You know, I've been into photography for over 30 years now. So I'm giving you good stuff here. All of these photographs were taken on my smartphone. I'm just going to get down to the modules. All right, so I'm going to quickly tell you there's 5 modules over 9 weeks. 5 is a good number because you feel you're making progress. And the first module is 1 week, and it's called The Joy of Photography. I'm going to tell you about the metaphor this time. There's at least 2 metaphors that I use to help you see your progress and go through the course with great pleasure. The first mod, it's about climbing a mountain. The first one is about discovering and talking about what photography is. It's called Planning the Path. But be careful, you are taking photographs and being given assignments from the very first session. So it's very practical, but it's very, very doable. And every time you watch a video or have a live or watch the replay, you click a button and you get a point and it goes ka-ching or something like that. And when you do your assignment, you get, I think I'm going to give you 2 points because watching your video is fine. Doing the assignment, like going out and taking a photograph in that style, is more important. So you get more points for doing the exercise and for posting in the private Facebook group. That's basically what it is. You watch a session, either live or on the replay. If I do them live, I haven't decided yet. You do the assignment, which is basically taking photographs, which is what you want to do. That's why you're signing up. And the final thing is, the culmination is posted in the group. You're working towards an exhibition. You're working towards a beautiful portfolio of photographs at the end of the training. That's the objective, which you will reach. The second module is, I call it the elementary level of the photography section. That's the 3 middle modules. It's 2 weeks, and I call this Master Your Camera and Apps. And guess what we do with this? You master your camera and the apps that are 2 different types of apps. One is correcting things like lighting, sharpness, and that sort of thing. So not actually changing the picture itself artistically. The second type of app is artistic apps, and I look at both, right? So by the end of this module, you will be perfectly at ease with your smartphone. Yeah, we're talking about smartphones. And you will have the apps that are necessary. Not too many, but you need some. And then the core module is 3 weeks. You have a break, by the way, after the first 2 modules, a week's break. Then there's a 3-week module. It's the biggest module. And this is about composition, choosing the subject, lighting. These are it's like you're filling your toolbox. You're filling your photographic toolbox with everything you need to be proficient. Okay, you know what to do. You know how to do certain things, get certain effects. That's 3 weeks. Then you have another week's break. So it's a catch-up week or it's a break week, consolidation week, or going deeper week. Module 4 is 2 weeks. And this is about developing your photographer's eye. This is advanced level, but you're ready for it. You're ready for it because of the modules that have gone before. You're perfectly ready for it. And I call it advanced, but I mean, you can be practicing developing your photographer's eye from day one. There's no exact science here, but it's logical. Having understood what photography is, what it can be, what it is for you as well, understanding your smartphone and the apps, understanding composition and stuff like that, then you go out and practice spontaneously. You let inspiration come. You let the heavens speak to you, and your life's experience is in there too. That's what this is. This is wonderful. This is where you take your photography to another level. We ain't talking sad selfies here. And then the final module is actually, it's almost a wind down module. It's a celebration module. It's presenting your work and graduating, playing the peaks, I call it. Presenting your work and so you finish your assignments, you present them, you have an exhibition. It can be very simple, online, just to us in the group. You talk about your photographs, how they make you feel and stuff, what you were trying to do. Or you can have, that's the simplest, or you can have a huge live exhibition, in an art gallery near where you live if you want, or you can do something in between. In your living room, display them on the wall in your living room, have your family round and give a little presentation and do it live so that we can see you in the group. Or you can just have your computer and a slideshow. But I want this to be something that when you've achieved your goal, all right? So it's a program. You set your objective and you set it. I help you, but you set it so that it's doable for you with different levels. You can go for a higher level, but you'll still reach the lower level, okay? So everything is based on making this fun, motivating, exciting, and really, really rewarding. And there are bonuses. So check out this page to see all of these bonuses. You can go down here. There's your mission. You've got your personal success guarantee. I will stay with you until you do achieve your goals. There's people saying that they like working with me on photography. That's about me. These are frequently asked questions. And a final word on action. Take action, you get a reaction, and it's normally a good one. Don't do anything, that's probably what you get. Nothing at all. So that's it for now. And I will see you again tomorrow for number 7 in this series of 9. These will also be bonuses. So these photo analyses that you're seeing today and all the other days will be stripped of the masterclass stuff, blah, blah, like now. And those will become a bonus. So you will have the in-depth analysis of about 81 photographs as part of your masterclass bonuses. Thanks very much. Send in more photographs for me to look at. And someone's just joined at the last minute and I'm about to say bye-bye. So sorry about that. Thanks for coming. And I will see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great evening, morning, lunchtime, night.